Welcome to Shadow Alley. On this channel we talk about horror movies and silicone masks and other creepy things, so if you're into that kind of stuff, it's getting kind of... What the hell?
Enough of that guy. We have no time for intros. We have way too much to do. I have a simple task for everyone watching this video. I've recently dared 10 horror YouTubers to try and choose the best 80s horror movie ever made, and do a quick video explaining why it's their choice. Your job is to watch each one and argue about it in the comments. But then, do something really horrible. Visit the links in the description for each YouTuber and leave a comment on their channel, letting them know your thoughts on their movie choice, especially if you think it was the wrong choice. That would be horrifyingly hilarious.
Yeah, that's not that funny. It's actually kind of bland for a YouTube comment section, boss.
Enough! It is hilarious, trust me. Now, without further ado, here are your favorite horror YouTubers trying to choose the very best 80s horror movie ever made.
Hey everyone, I'm Tom.
And I'm Matt.
And like all the other beautifully twisted people on today's episode, we host a YouTube channel.
That's right, and that's the Hap Horror Show,
where we talk about a variety of all things scary.
And today we're going to be talking about one of our favorite horror movies from the 1980s.
An American Werewolf in London. David and Jack, two American college students, are backpacking through Britain when a large wolf attacks them. David survives with a bite, but Jack is brutally killed. As David heals in the hospital, he's plagued by violent nightmares of his mutilated friend, who warns David that he is becoming a werewolf. When David discovers the horrible truth, he contemplates committing suicide before the next full moon causes him to transform from man to murderous beast.
This is our all-time favorite werewolf movie, and it's a must-watch.
It's a hybrid of a movie that combines the perfect blend of comedy and horror.
Movies that would come out later this decade would follow this movie's example, such as Beetlejuice, Evil Dead 2, and Gremlins.
It also has one of the most realistic and unsettling werewolf transformation scenes of all time.
That's right, Rick Baker was the makeup artist on this movie and did such incredible work that this was the first movie to win an Oscar for Best Makeup.
John Landis wrote the script when he was a teenager and directed this when he was 31.
So if you love horror and you haven't seen this before, put it on your watch list.
We'd like to thank Adam from Shadow Alley Productions for the invitation to this collaboration.
Is that the guy who reviews all the masks?
It sure is. Oh, I get it, you're trying to be like him. Matt?
Matt?
Alright, souls, here we are to talk about one of the best 80s movies of all time. That's right, Critters. 1986, when the series kicked off. We have how many sequels? 1, 2, 3. That one counts too. And then a series. I'm getting off topic. Let's talk about what happens in this movie. A group of small but vicious alien creatures called Christ escape from an alien prison transport vessel and land near a small farm town on Earth, pursued by two shape-shifting bounty hunters. Now that's what it says on IMDb, but this movie is so much more than that. Listen. From the practical effects, which are awesome, who doesn't love puppets, to the soundtrack, which is one of the best. You damn Skippy. So directed by Stephen Herrick, you might know that name from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and if you don't, you goddamn well should. This was made for a paltry $2 million. Paltry means small or meager. This movie is full of setups and payoffs, humor and jump scares. It really has it all. I'm a big fan of puppets myself. If you like puppets, this is for you. You can please a wide audience with this one. It's horror, but it's light, with sci-fi elements and a fair amount of comedy. Fun for all ages. I saw this when I was 6 or 7, and I've been a fan of the franchise ever since. Me from the editing room almost forgot 2 important things. 1, Shadow Alley Productions, thank you, you bastard, for having me on. And 2, I'm JustDaggers. You can see me on JustDaggers on YouTube, or I am one half of Cannibal Video on YouTube. Back to the video. Fuck off.
JustDaggers, you know that he's the sharpest in the shed with content so killer that he left them off for dead.
everyone, I'm Lindsay Washburn from the YouTube channel Lindsay Washburn, where I talk about all sorts of movie-related shit, and the giant VHS collection that you see behind me. When I was approached by Alex from Shadow Alley Productions, first I screamed, then I listened. He asked me to tell you all about my favorite 80s horror movie, and my pick is Return of the Living Dead.
Why do you eat people?
Not people. Brains.
Return of the Living Dead is the 1985 horror comedy helmed by that lovable chain-smoking curmudgeon Dan O'Bannon.
Oh, that asshole.
This punk zombie flick breathes new life into the genre while still paying homage to its predecessors with its social satire on Reaganism, disenfranchised youth, and the Cold War. Characters and visuals from this film continue to be horror iconography, from the ooey gooey tar man to Linnea Quigley adding trash to her indemnable body of work. Seasoned character actors Clu Gallagher, James Karen, and Don Colfa joined the B-side Brad Pack, Tom Matthews, Brian Peck, and Mark Venturi to bring the self-aware awareness to the forefront, and simultaneously lampoon zombie films and leave its own mark upon the subgenre. This film throws the rules right out of the window in a wonderful send-up of zombie horror tropes. Movie rules won't help you survive this flick. These brain-munching corpses are unstoppable, and they're paired with a kick-ass soundtrack. Return of the Living Dead brings the thrills and the laughs in one shiny 80s package. And that is why it is my pick for best 80s horror movie.
The Return of the Living Dead.
A big thank you to Alex at Shadow Alley Productions for making us all do this under threat of permanent disfigurement. And don't forget to check out my channel, Lindsay Washburn, starring me, Lindsay Washburn, where I talk about all sorts of movie-related things, including this giant VHS collection that you see behind me, and in many nooks and crannies that you don't. Back to you, Phil.
Shadow Alley Productions would like to know, what is the greatest 80s horror movie of all time?
Did you do the music for a short movie of his?
Yeah.
You ever pay you for that?
No, cheap prick.
Well, here we are again, contributing to your channel, increasing your views. We're here at Outpost 31, and it's gotta be 1982's The Thing. The music. Ennio Morricone did the soundtrack for this.
The setting for this movie is fantastic. You're in the Arctic, holed up in this little outpost. If you go out into the cold, you're gonna die. If you stay in the outpost with the alien, you're gonna die.
Exactly. The effects in this movie, top notch. There's so many iconic effects, and they still hold up to this day.
The plot for this movie is fantastic. Can you get any better than a small group of people in the Antarctic discovering a UFO and having a shape-shifting alien change to any form it wants to kill you? The acting, again, is top-notch. You got Kurt Russell in there. Wilford Brimley is in there.
Yeah.
Not talking about diabetes.
Or Quaker Oats.
Or Quaker Oats.
The directing. Come on, John Carpenter. Now, how can you beat that?
Another hallmark of this movie is the ending. One of them has to be The Thing. You're not sure who it is.
You don't know, though. Maybe they're both not.
They're both, who knows? You don't know. And that's the best part about this ending, and it's debated until this day.
And that brings us to the legacy of this movie. It's still being debated, not just the ending, but pretty much the whole movie.
And it lives on in comic books and even that shit-ass prequel.
Ugh.
That's why The Thing is the best 80s horror movie of all time.
And until next time, keep drinking.
God damn it. Guys, it is the 80s. Not really, it's 2021, but you know what? It's a great time to be talking about the 80s. And my favorite movie from the 80s, maybe even of all time, is the 1986 classic, Aliens.
directed by James Cameron. Follow-up to, obviously, the Ridley Scott movie Alien. A bit different of a movie, and probably one of the best sequels ever made. Movie is a complete package here. You have incredible characters with arcs, you have incredible action scenes, horror, suspense. This movie is patient. It takes over an hour before they even get to the alien, building up the suspense, and then with incredible payoffs. The movie has inspired countless of video games and other movies. If you haven't seen Aliens, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Really, I'm honestly serious. Like, stop what you're doing right now. If you're like working somewhere, just quit your fucking job because it's worth it. Go home, watch Aliens, get back to me, and then maybe apply for jobs because you probably shouldn't actually quit your job. This may even be the first movie to feature an amphibian playing a lead character. Yeah, because the one girl is a newt, I think. Look, everybody knows about Aliens, but when they ask you what your favorite movie from the 80s is, it's my go-to. I mean, The Thing, right below that. But guys, go out there, buy Aliens. James Cameron, he's not quite rich enough. He needs to buy another submarine and find the Titanic 2 or whatever, I don't know. Anyways, guys, back to the show, as they say on this video that I'm making right now.
Alright, I'll make the video, okay, relax, I'll make the video, okay, I'm making it right now, relax. What's going on, you slasher fans? My name is Crawford, and here on my channel, I talk everything movies, and I'm definitely here creating this video on my own free will. I most certainly wasn't forced to make this video by some devil in some shitty silicone mask. Please help me, I've been locked in my studio for 3 days, and he's only been feeding me Arby's leftovers, please help me, please. In this video, we're talking about one of the most fun slash movies of the 1980s, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. What's not to love about this film? We have a zombified mama's boy who comes back to life, an awesome James Bond introduction, RVs flipping over and exploding, guns with laser beams, you bang, and this kill where a man gets folded like a lawn chair. And of course, it's a Friday the 13th movie, so we get no nudity. Wait, how is that a positive? I don't understand. Friday the 13th Part 6 is a great time, and hopefully I've convinced you to watch this film. Or else Shadow Alley Productions will force me to rewatch episodes of Barney. I don't know what it is, but there's just something off about that goddamn dinosaur. Please like this video, my life depends on it.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Derek from Derek's Horror Stuff, and today we're talking about our favorite 80s horror movies. Now, as you guys know, if you're a horror fan, it's really, really difficult to pick your favorite 80s horror movie. But for me, I have to go with one of my tops, and that's going to be Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Now, Dream Warriors is kind of interesting because it's the third part of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. This one picks up where the original Nightmare left off, completely skipping over part 2. Now, Nancy has grown up and become a psychiatrist. She meets a group of children at a local hospital facing Freddy Krueger, the same demon she once encountered in her sleep. Now, one of them is Kristen, who has the power to draw other people into her dreams. Working with a male doctor assigned to the case, Nancy helps the kids realize their special abilities within the nightmare world. When Freddy captures one of her charges, she leads a rescue attempt into Krueger's domain in hopes of putting his spirit to rest once and for all. Now, this movie is just considered one of the best from the Nightmare series, just in general. But for me, the reasons that I would say I enjoy this movie the most: one, the kills are great.
What's wrong, Joey? Feeling tongue-tied?
2, the dialogue. I love the Freddy Krueger dialogue in this movie. He has some great one-liners.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Now, the Freddy Krueger glove used in this movie was actually stolen from the set. But a really fun fact about that is if you go and watch Evil Dead 2, which was filmed that same year, you can find this glove hanging in the work shed in one of the scenes.
This was kind of a back and forth between Sam Raimi and Wes Craven. Now, last but not least, I want to give a special shout out to the host of the channel. I want to give a special shout out to all of the participants in this video. It's really cool of you guys to allow me to be in this and do a little bit of this collab stuff. So I want to say thank you to all you guys. Hopefully we can do this again soon. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Hey, what's up everyone? Larry from Nightmare Fuel Streaming here. You might recognize me from our segment The Tape Tomb, which airs weekly on our YouTube channel, Nightmare Fuel Streaming, where each week I irresponsibly add to my horror VHS collection, so I get to talk about my favorite movies with you. We were approached recently by Adam at Shadow Alley Productions about doing a collaboration video with a bunch of other horror YouTubers about what we think the best 80s horror movie is. As excited as I was to work with my fellow horror content creators, I couldn't help but think and worry, what am I gonna do to make sure that Nightmare Fuel secures their spot to talk about the best 80s horror movie of all time? Well, we did what we had to. It must be one of those hard-shelled peppercorns. So what's all the buzz about? Let's check it out with our pick of Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 1986. This sequel was made almost 12 years after the original, and it shows. Goodbye 70s grit, hello 80s oingo boingo chainsaw-fueled intro. This story follows local radio DJ Slim, who thanks to our douchey frat bros at the beginning of the film, now has evidence that may help ex-Texas Ranger Dennis Hopper finally track down Leatherface and the Hewitt family as he seeks revenge for the murder of his brother. The Twisted Texas fam has ditched their old digs and now reside in the old Texas battleland that they have converted into a funhouse of horrors. How will they fare when a madman strapped with chainsaws from head to toe shows up at their door for redemption? How the tables have turned in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. This movie has more Leatherface and blood and guts than its predecessor, and co-stars one of our favorite horror movie characters of all time, Bill Moseley as Chop Top. But the real gem of this movie? It's got enough Dennis Hopper running around like a fucking maniac with enough chainsaws to give you an aching banana. Oh, my aching banana. Thank you all once again for watching, and another big shout out and thank you to Shadow Alley Productions for giving us this opportunity to collaborate with other horror content creators and do what we do on a daily basis, and that's talk about our favorite horror movies. This is Larry Down signing out, and we'll see you in the sequel.
Welcome to the Cult of Films. I'm John the host, and today I want to bring you the two best things that came from the 1980s. H.P. Lovecraft's Re-animator, directed by the recently departed schlockmaster Stuart Gordon, and, well, John the host. Sure, Herbert West might not have the household name recognition as the other legendary horror fiends like Freddy, Jason, and Eminem, but that doesn't mean that this film shouldn't be in your heavy horror rotation. So, how much time do I have for this review, Dr. Hill?
6 to 12 minutes.
Well, I don't need that much time to tell you that this Lovecraftian horror comedy has it all. Like a scientist named Hans Gruber. An eviscerated cat muppet.
Cat dead. Details later.
Mass pencil murder.
JT, I suggest you get yourself a pen.
And the most infamous horror movie scene referenced in American Beauty by an actual real-life monster.
Did you ever see that movie where the body is walking around carrying its own head and then the head goes down on that bay?
Re-animator.
Yes, reverse necrophilia? I told you this movie has it all. So what are you waiting? Oh. So what are you waiting for? Grab the entire family for a wholesome movie night for 1985's Re-animator. Big thanks to Alex from Shadow Alley Productions for hosting this shindig. Be sure to check out the other amazing videos on his channel.
Sweaty and gross now.
So if you want to hear more from me, John the host, you can check me out hosting The Cult of Films on the They Said We Said YouTube channel. Roll that bassy boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Vic Shy from The Horror Mine, where we talk about mysteries, thrillers, and horror movies. I have the honor today to speak to you all about one of the best horror movies of all time, The Shining. I am here on my own free will, and I am definitely not being kept here against my will by a demon threatening to take my worthless soul away if I don't talk to you all about a classic horror film from the 80s. And I only have 2 minutes to do it. Have you ever wondered what it's like to have an entire hotel to yourself and your family, tired of those pesky guests with numerous kids selfishly enjoying their vacation while simultaneously ruining yours? Is your own family keeping you from advancing your personal career? Well, my friends, look no further than the Overlook Hotel. I'd love to talk about it with you all, but I only have a minute left, so I guess I'll just break into song. We've got blood elevators aplenty. We've got creepy-ass dead twins and more. You want creepy-ass kids? I've got plenty. But just wait, take a peek. We've got gore. This film has got tons of Nicholson, probably as crazy as ever. The Shining's also got a ton of smiles, and what's that word? Death. I've only got a few seconds left. Have I convinced you to watch this yet? My life depends. It all depends. If you say yes.
Here's Johnny.
What 80s horror movie would you pick as the best ever made if you could choose only one? Write about it in the comments. And again, don't forget to visit the YouTubers' channels and leave comments on their movie choice. And I'll see some of you very soon.